This video was recorded live before a canned studio audience. It's Friday Night Movie Reviews, and here they are, Chris and Keith.
Hi, thank you very much.
Thank you
very much. How are you guys doing tonight? How you doing? This is Friday Night Movie Reviews. Thank you for joining us tonight. We appreciate you coming watching us, and we appreciate your time. Tonight we're going to be reviewing a movie, and if you saw our previous video, then you realized that we were not too appreciative of the movie that we saw then. And this one is a movie that we went and saw a few weeks ago, and because of holidays, because of sicknesses within, between all of us and that sort of thing, we haven't been able to drop very many videos, and that's why you haven't seen them. We're back.
We are back.
We are back. Hey, there you go. Yeah, thank you.
And honestly, we needed time for this movie to marinate a little bit because, yeah,
this is one that needed to kind of, I don't know.
Yeah, it
disappear.
I'm gonna say this nicely. I hope you didn't see it in theater because we saw Kraven, and I hope you wait till Netflix because this is a Sony movie and all Sony movies go to Netflix. So don't spend your cash.
No.
Watch it on Netflix. Do it while you're doing laundry or doing chores. Have it on in the background because honestly, you can turn your head away from the screen in this movie and still not miss anything.
And not miss a darn thing. So we're going to be reviewing Kraven, and our basic thoughts on it. So here is the basic premise of the movie. The basic premise is you have this main character. His dad is a gangster type character, and he ends up being injured in on a safari in Africa, a safari that he went on with his father and with his brother, and he was injured during the safari, and this girl comes along, performs some voodoo juju magic on him, and he ends up gives him some kind of serum, and he ends up becoming Kraven, this hunter guy who has enhanced senses and things to that effect. Now, most of that goes along with the character in the comic books.
Yeah. Where did they go wrong? Where did they diverge with this character?
Okay, so here's where they diverged with this character. Kraven, as far as I can remember, didn't have his own comic book.
And last time I checked, he's not an anti-hero. He's a villain. He's always been a villain.
And that's what Sony did with this character. They made him an anti-hero.
They tried to lump him like they did Venom, and Morbius.
Now,
who both had their own books and were.
Yes, who both do have their own comic book series. Now, here is my thought on what Sony was thinking. Since Sony will not budge at all on
selling Spider-Man
to back to Marvel, and in essence giving it to Disney, they're running out of ideas.
They've milked Spider-Man for all that it's worth at this point.
I mean, you've seen our review of this last Venom movie, and they've basically run out of ideas. When Tom Holland has refused. He refuses to come and do a Sony movie as Spider-Man in a Sony movie. He says he's only going to be Spider-Man in the Disney movies, in the MCU with Disney.
They've run out of ideas so bad that they made Madam Web, and we didn't even review that one. No. So that tells you how bad things have gotten.
I didn't even go see it. Did you even watch it?
Yeah, I saw it.
You watched it? Yeah. I haven't even watched it. And you know what? I probably haven't missed a thing.
If it wasn't for Regal Unlimited, shameless plug, I wouldn't have seen it. So I didn't pay to see the movie. I use my Regal Unlimited to see it. Yeah, it's not worth reviewing, and it's on Netflix. Go watch it. That's all I'll say.
Go watch Madam Web.
Yeah.
And
soon to be followed by Kraven.
Yeah, soon to be followed by Kraven.
And heck, while you're at it, go ahead and watch Morbius too, because I'm sure it's still there as well.
Now, Morbius was a little bit better
Yeah.
in my honest opinion, a little bit better than this one was. Now, Kraven. So what ends up happening is Kraven becomes this anti-hero who is fighting gangs, and that's his whole MO.
Yeah, to deal with his daddy issues.
Right.
Yep.
To deal with his daddy issues, and he just fights gangs, and that's all he does. And I mean, where it would make a good movie if he was anything but a villain of Spider-Man's in the Spider-Man comic books. I mean, that would be cool, but that's all he is in the Spider-Man comics, is a villain.
Yeah.
Not an anti-hero.
And if you want a guy who dresses like that and talks to animals and has friendships with animals, there was a movie in the 80s called Beastmaster.
Yeah.
So there you go. Watch Beastmaster.
Oh, and by the way, we're probably just going to go ahead and spoil some of this movie because it really just wasn't worth it in our opinion. He doesn't actually get the suit
to the very, very end
until like the last literal
2 seconds.
Yeah, I was going to be generous and say 30 seconds. The last 30 seconds of the movie, he gets the suit. And that is it. So if you're looking for him to go running around with the big mane hanging around his neck and all that kind of stuff, no, you ain't getting that.
And so you wouldn't even recognize the character. That's how bad it is.
Right. It's more like really, to tell you the truth, it's kind of like a renamed John Wick.
Pretty much.
Just not as good, nowhere near as good as John Wick.
Yeah, and they show his brother, who's the chameleon. Sorry, spoilers.
Oh.
Yeah, you get to see that for a whole 30 seconds.
Yeah, a whole 30 seconds you get to see that.
An unutilized character that should have been the main villain in this movie.
Right, exactly.
And that was the whole thing about, we were rewriting this in the car on the way home. Like, you have it to where his dad's the main villain in the movie.
Right.
Sorry, spoilers. Yeah.
I mean, this movie was so bad, we actually did rewrite the entire film on the way home, and in my honest opinion, and I guess I'm a little biased because I helped with it, but we made what could have been a better movie than what this was. I mean, the writers of this movie have absolutely no idea what Kraven is, who Kraven is.
Yeah.
It's almost as if they haven't ever read a Spider-Man comic book with the Kraven in it.
It's almost like AI wrote this movie. That's what it really feels like.
That's really what it felt
This was
like.
a paint-by-numbers, early 2000s superhero movie that's forgettable.
Right.
That's the best way I know how to describe this movie. Now, the action scenes, you'll enjoy it, but you'll forget them.
Right.
And then I don't think they understood Kraven's powers. At one point, he has like a chain on a helicopter, and he's actually pulling the helicopter back towards him. I don't remember.
Yeah, he's
Kraven,
not that strong.
Yeah, I don't remember him like.
Now, Spider-Man,
Yeah. Spider-Man could do that.
Spider-Man could, but Kraven, no.
No. It was really weird. Now, they did get some of his powers right, like with the sight and the smell.
And those kinds of things, his tracking ability and that kind of stuff. They did get that right.
And the only way they shoehorned like a Spider-Man-esque thing into it is he's afraid of spiders. I don't remember in the comics Kraven being afraid of spiders.
I don't either. I mean, it was terrible. It was terrible. And like I said, we rewrote it on the way home, and our version was better than what we saw. It's almost like he said with written by AI. It's almost like the producers sat down and said, "Okay, well, the writers are on strike. We gotta have a movie, and we're gonna do a Kraven movie. Hey, Chat GPT, write a movie about the Spider-Man villain Kraven, make him an anti-hero, and just went from there. And we're like, oh yeah, oh wow, hey yeah, that's a good idea. That's a good idea. Yes, let's do that.
Yeah.
I mean, it was bad. Now I will say this: I did like how they portrayed Rhino in this movie.
The only thing I didn't like is he's supposed to be a goon. He's not supposed to be like the head guy.
Right.
That's the only thing I had.
And he's
issue
not really
with.
supposed to be all that intelligent.
Yeah,
either.
they made him smart and they made him like the head of like his own gang.
Right.
And I'm like, no, he should have been working for
Right.
Craven's dad. That should have
Right.
been like the twist the whole time. Is like, oh, I'm really working for your dad. It was just set up so he could get you back in the fold, kind of deal. you know?
So here's the thing, Sony, if you're listening, which you're probably not, because
No.
we're not really all that big. But I mean, listen, you have Spider-Man, you have all of his villains, you've got the Sinister Six, and you have basically introduced most of the Sinister Six
Yep.
in your movies.
And you've got Andrew Garfield on speed dial who said he would do Spider-Man for you.
Right.
Since Tom Holland wouldn't.
Bring Andrew Garfield back.
I love him. He's great for these movies.
Make
Yeah.
Kraven the villain that he is, not an anti-hero like Venom. Quit with that. That's dumb.
Yep.
Bring Rhino back. You killed him.
Yeah.
You killed him.
Yeah.
Bring him back. Do the right comic book thing and bring him back to life.
Well,
The Vulture. You've got the Vulture, and you've got Dr. Octopus, and you've got Morbius.
Yeah.
And who's the last one?
what, Green Goblin?
Green Goblin.
Yeah.
Dudes, come on.
Like,
You've got the Sinister Six.
like we could just like copy and paste and throw things and make a movie for you.
Right.
I mean,
Right. I mean, come on.
honestly, I want Andrew Garfield to fight Venom. I mean, that's
That would be really cool.
yeah. He said he's never fought an alien before, and I
Right.
want to give him his chance. you know?
That would be really cool.
And honestly, it would fit better with the Andrew Garfield Spider-Man. And I realized that there was a mechanical Rhino in his movies, but you just make the mechanical one like the one they did in Kraven, and then
Right.
boom, problem solved.
Right. There you go. There you go. Well, anyway, so the basic premise of the movie is Kraven is an anti-hero who fights gangs,
Yep.
and he wasn't supposed to be an anti-hero. He's supposed to be a Spider-Man villain.
Yep. The movie's
so-
essentially John Wick meets Beastmaster.
Exactly. That's what it is. So, if I was to rate this movie, let's ask the question that we normally ask: Was this movie worth your cash, or is it trash?
Watch it on Netflix. Don't waste your money on this.
I think that answers your question.
Don't buy it on Blu-ray.
This movie is not worth your money. It's trash. Don't buy it on Blu-ray. Don't think about adding it to your collection, because this movie is really not worth it.
Because I guarantee you're going to watch it on Netflix and forget about the movie in 15 minutes. And then you'll be
Right.
scrolling through Netflix within 6 months from now, and you'll see the title and you'll be like, Raven, what's that?
I mean, to be fair, there were some moments in it where you're like, oh,
Yeah,
like during the fight scenes.
Yeah,
I mean,
like-
he really breaks some people up. And
Yeah.
so, there's some moments in it where you're kind of like, oh, yeah.
like
But
if
then,
you want like a brainless, like just
but after, a brainless,
like action movie with lots of gore, this is the one for you.
this is the one.
So clearly, don't let kids watch this.
Right.
I should point that out.
Yeah,
this is a rated R
This
movie.
is rated R,
Yeah,
so do not let the kids watch it. It's very violent. It does have some language in it. But listen, I mean, it's
I do need to point out something that I laughed at in this movie that wasn't intentional to be laughed at. They roll the credits and they act like there's going to be a mid-credit scene, and then it just goes right back to credits. Like
Right.
they took it out.
right.
And I laughed so hard at the screen, and me and him and a couple other people were still in the theater, and everybody kind of was like looking like, why is he laughing? I'm laughing because clearly they had other plans and they changed them.
Well,
when they
there were
realized.
some other people that got it too.
Yeah.
There were some other people there that got it. You can clearly see when you're watching the credits. It rolls, it scrolls up. The last of the words scroll up, and there's this dark screen.
Boom, credits.
and then more credits roll up. So you know they were supposed to put an after credit scene there, but even they knew that the movie was such garbage. Nobody's going to care about an after credit scene.
Well, and that's the funny part.
We're lucky if they stayed for the end and for the credits. They ain't going to stay after.
See,
the
this is the
credits.
bad part. Madam Web even had an end credit scene. That's how bad this is. That Kraven did not even deserve to get one. And then pretty much they made an announcement like after this movie bombed. They said that, oh yeah, we're done with the Spider-Man extended universe.
Oh,
So
good.
I'm
good.
hoping they're getting ready to sell it to Marvel.
Hopefully that's what they do. And you know what? I mean, it kind of makes me afraid of what Disney's going to do to Spider-Man. But I mean, it can't be any worse than what Sony's done throughout the years.
Yeah.
So what this movie was not worth your cash. This movie was trash. And I am going to give this movie a rating of probably 3 popcorns. And that is being extremely generous.
Yeah, the violence and the gore and just like something to have on in the background. I'm going to be generous and give it 4 Pepsis. But this anything under a 5 is not worth anybody's time. But yeah, if you just need something on in the background while you're doing chores in the house, put it on this movie because it's forgettable.
Right. Like I said, there'll be moments where you're ooh and ah, but then after the movie's over, you're going to be like, what was that again?
Yeah.
Or, it would have been better if it was like this.
Yeah.
Now, if you watch a movie and you get done with it and you're thinking, it was pretty good, but it would have been better if, then that tells you a lot.
Yeah.
That tells you a whole lot. So, listen, don't waste your time with this movie unless you're going to watch it on Netflix and, like he said, have it playing in the background while you do laundry or something like that. Well, that's our cue to go.
Yep.
We're done trashing this movie, and we're done trashing the movie that we reviewed before it. Maybe you're mad at us for trashing a movie that you liked, but hey, you know what? If you are, let us know. Tell us in the comments why we're wrong. Tell us in the comments that you really liked Kraven and that you thought it was a really good movie. And I promise we won't insult you too bad.
No. Yep. Remember to like, share, subscribe, hit that bell notification for when our next video drops. Again, let us know what you thought about this movie. I'd love to hear your thoughts on it. If you want to join us in solidarity and make fun of this movie, let us have it. I want to hear it.
Hey, you know what? But if you really are gonna join us and you're gonna make fun of it with us, then hey, we welcome that as well. Seriously, we won't insult you if you like the movie. Everybody's opinion is their own opinion. And if you liked it, hey, you know what? Good for you. Tell you what, next time a good movie comes out, why don't you get your family and friends, jump in the car and head on out and enjoy your movie.
This video